where we talk about coins that could literally turn your couch change into a mansion. If you've ever thought, it's just a quarter, well, hold on to your seat, because today I'm going to blow your mind. You're walking to the vending machine, you pull out a 1988 D Washington quarter, you almost drop it in for a bag of chips, and bam, you realize it's worth $1.5 million. That's right. One single little coin, minted in Denver in 1988, can be worth more than most folks' entire house. And don't worry, we're going to break this down step by step: what makes this quarter so rare and valuable, how to spot one without fancy equipment, the fascinating backstory behind it, and why coin collectors lose their minds over it. We'll even share a little story about how I almost spent a valuable coin myself. So grab your favorite snack, settle in, and let's talk money, literally. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the decades, millions of these coins were produced. The 1988 D quarter is part of this long history, minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. In 1988 alone, hundreds of millions were struck. So, you're probably wondering, why is this one so special? Well, not every coin is created equal. Some coins leave the mint with little quirks, what we call errors. Think of them like typos in a book, except in this case, the typo is worth a small fortune at first. Some 1988 D quarters have a double die obverse. That means the front of the coin, George Washington's face and the inscriptions, was struck twice, just slightly offset. If you look carefully at the word Liberty or the date 1988, you might see a faint shadow or doubling. Second, there are examples of these quarters struck on planchets meant for other coins, like dimes or foreign currency. Imagine a quarter that weighs less than it should or is missing part of the design because the blank was the wrong size. That's a jackpot. And finally, condition is everything. If your 1988 D quarter is in pristine, uncirculated condition, the kind of coin that never rattled around in a pocket, collectors will pay astronomical sums. One nearly flawless specimen sold at auction for $1.5 million. That's not a rumor. That's a verified sale. Now, let me tell you about the time I nearly blew it. A couple years back, I was cleaning out my late uncle's coin jars. I had no idea what I was doing. I was about to dump everything into a Coinstar machine. My wife, bless her patient heart, said, "You might want to look through those first." Sure enough, right near the bottom, I spotted a 1988 D quarter in nearly perfect shape. My hands were shaking. I ran to my laptop, compared it to photos online, and realized it could be something special. In the end, it wasn't the $1 million variety, but it was still worth over $200. Not bad for a coin I almost traded in for grocery store credit. If I learned one thing, it's this: always check your change. You never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. Examine the date and lettering carefully. Use a magnifying glass if you can. Look for any doubling, shadows, or smearing on the numbers or the word Liberty. Check the rim and edges. Some error coins have partial collars or reading that's uneven. Weigh your quarter. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet. Assess the condition. Coins with no scratches, no discoloration, and full detail will always command higher prices. And hey, don't get discouraged if yours isn't the $1 million type. Even small errors can be worth hundreds or thousands. Coin collecting isn't a new hobby. Rare coins have been bought, sold, and cherished for centuries. The demand for high-grade Washington quarters is still very strong. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers regularly feature rare quarters fetching 6 or 7 figures. If anything, as more collectors enter the market, prices keep climbing. Get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS and NGC will authenticate your coin and give it a grade. A certified grade makes buyers more confident. Avoid pawn shops. You'll almost never get full value. Consider auction houses or specialized dealers. They have the clientele willing to pay top dollar. Take clear photos. The better your photos, the more serious offers you'll get. If you take nothing else from today's video, remember this: never underestimate the power of spare change. That humble little quarter you're about to toss in a tip jar might be worth more than your car, your house, or both combined. The 1988 D Washington quarter is proof that treasures can still be found in circulation. With a bit of knowledge, a good magnifying glass, and some patience, You can join the growing community of collectors cashing in on America's hidden wealth. So next time you get change, slow down, take a closer look, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to discover $1 million coin. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited to learn more about rare coins, old pennies worth serious money, and smart strategies to build your wealth, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a tip that could change your life, and hey, share this video with a friend. You might just be the reason they find their own $1 million quarter. Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and everyday folks who love the thrill of turning pocket change into a fat stack of cash. Let me ask you something. Have you ever paid for a cup of coffee, got your change back, and wondered if that quarter you just tossed in your car console could be the golden ticket to early retirement? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a coin that looks so ordinary you'd swear it's just spare change. But this unassuming little beauty has fetched a market value of $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.6 million. Today's star of the show is the 2016 D. Harper's Ferry $2 coin. If you've got one, or you're about to sprint to your junk drawer to check, this video is for you. So grab a coffee, sit back, and get ready, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly why collectors are losing their minds over this coin, and how you can spot one yourself. It's 2016, the US Mint releases the America the Beautiful Quarters series, and among them is a special design honoring Harper's Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia. The design features John Brown's fort, which has quite the backstory itself, but today, the fort isn't the only thing making history, because a tiny fraction of these quarters minted in Denver, that's what the D Mint mark stands for, turned out to have extraordinary qualities that have collectors opening their wallets wider than a country buffet. So, what exactly makes this 2016 D quarter worth a mind-blowing $1.6 million? Let's break it down step by step, because the devil, or in this case, the dollar signs, is in the details. First off, rarity is everything in coin collecting. Think of it like baseball cards, vintage cars, or limited edition sneakers. If everyone has it, nobody cares. But if only a handful exist, you've got yourself a potential jackpot. With the Harper's Ferry quarter, certain dies, those are the metal stamps that impress the design onto the blank coin, developed unique characteristics. Maybe it was a tiny misalignment, or a subtle doubling in the image, or even the use of a special alloy blend by accident. When collectors discovered these anomalies, they realized these quarters were not just unusual, they were genuinely unique. And once something is unique in the world of coins, the price skyrockets. Rarity alone isn't enough. You could find a rare coin, but if it's been scratched up in a soda machine or banged around in a laundry cycle, it won't command top dollar. What sets the $1.6 million Harper's Ferry quarter apart is that it's in pristine, mint state condition, what collectors call MS67 or better. That means no visible wear, sharp details, and a beautiful luster that looks fresh off the press. I like to compare it to finding a 1960s Corvette in someone's barn, covered in a tarp, with only 500 miles on the odometer. That's the kind of jaw-dropping preservation we're talking about. Another reason collectors go crazy for this quarter is provenance, the documented history of who's owned it and how it was discovered. The most famous specimen was found by a hobbyist who, believe it or not, got it as change from a gas station and almost spent it on a pack of gum. Can you imagine? Dropping $1.6 million on a Wrigley's spearmint, that story alone adds to the mystique. Provenance makes the coin more than metal, it makes it a legend. Alright, let's talk about how you can spot one of these elusive beauties hiding in your piggy bank. Grab a magnifying glass, or if your eyes are still sharp, just a good strong light, and look for the following clues of the D Mint mark below the "In God We Trust." A perfectly crisp image of John Brown's fort with no wear on the high points. A clean edge with no nicks or scratches. A shiny, satiny finish that looks nearly flawless. Subtle doubling or unusual features in the design, sometimes known as errors. If you find even a few of these, it's worth having the coin professionally graded. For a small fee, a grading service can authenticate it and assign a condition grade. If you really think you've got the motherlode, don't delay. Getting it graded is like taking your lottery ticket to the claims office. Let me tell you a little story about my own experience with quarters that taught me never to underestimate spare change. A couple of years ago, I was helping my aunt clean out her kitchen drawers. You know the drawer, the one stuffed with rubber bands, expired coupons, and enough batteries to power a small village. She had a mason jar full of quarters, and she was just about ready to haul them to the Coinstar machine. Something told me to look through them first. Sure enough, buried halfway down was a 2016 D. Harper's Ferry quarter in incredible shape. My heart started thumping like I'd just won the Super Bowl. I raced to my laptop and compared every detail. It turned out it wasn't the $1.6 million specimen, but it was still worth several $100. Moral of the story: never assume your change is worthless. You might be one lucky find away from life-changing money. Get it authenticated and graded. Do not skip this. Without grading, most buyers won't take you seriously. You research past auction prices. Sites like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers keep archives of realized prices. Consider consignment with a reputable dealer. They can market your coin to top-tier collectors who are ready to spend. If someone offers you a quick cash deal without documentation, be cautious. A legit coin at this value requires paperwork. Why is this coin worth so much now? Good question. In recent years, demand for rare modern quarters has exploded. Collectors are hungry for the best of the best, and the 2016 D Harper's Ferry is the cream of the crop. In 2025, high-grade examples have fetched 6- and 7-figure prices at auction, and experts expect the value to keep rising. The combination of historical significance, rarity, and condition has created a perfect storm of demand. Want to sound like the coin expert at your next dinner party? Try these trivia tidbits. The Harper's Ferry quarter was the 33rd release in the America the Beautiful series. Harper's Ferry was the site of John Brown's famous raid in 1859. The Denver Mint, where this coin was produced, has operated since 1906. Some rarer specimens of this coin are known to have off-center strikes, which can add even more value. Alright, friends, here's the takeaway. Next time you pay for groceries or dig around your car seats for parking meter change, remember, you could be holding a little silver and copper masterpiece worth $1.6 million. Be curious. Be thorough. And never underestimate the power of a humble quarter. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more insider tips on coins that can make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn about hidden treasures waiting in your pocket. Leave me a comment below if you've got a Harper's Ferry quarter or any other rare coins you're curious about. And remember, when life gives you change, check it twice, because sometimes it's worth more than you ever dreamed. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin lovers. Ever flip through your spare change, hoping to find something more valuable than a soggy receipt and a dusty penny from 1983? Well, hold on to your seats, because today we're diving deep into the story of the 1998 D Washington quarter, a regular OL quarter from 1998 with a Denver Mint mark. But this isn't just any quarter. Oh no. This beauty is sitting on a current market value of $1.7 million. You heard me right. A coin that once bought you a gumball can now buy you a lake house with a boat to match. If that doesn't get your pulse going, check your pockets. You might already be a millionaire and not even know it. Today, we're talking about how a seemingly ordinary coin turned into one of the most sought-after collectibles in the world. I'll walk you through its value, what to look for, and even share a personal story that might make you want to raid your coin jar tonight. So grab a cup of coffee, kick back, and let's talk quarters. $1 million quarters. The 1998 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver. Over 800 million of these quarters were produced that year. Yup, over 800 million. So the obvious question is, how the heck did one of them end up being worth $1.7 million? The answer lies in rarity. Not all quarters are created equal, my friends. Some 1998 D quarters came out of the US Mint with unusual features. We're talking about minting errors, die clashes, misstrikes, and double dies. These errors turn ordinary coins into collectibles. And when you combine a rare error with excellent condition, boom, you've got a millionaire maker on your hands. So what exactly should you be looking for in a valuable 1998 D quarter? There are a few things that can take your quarter from pocket change to Porsche money. If the lettering on the front of the coin looks doubled, like the word Liberty or In God We Trust, that could be a double die. Cha-ching. Ever seen a quarter that looks like it was struck while the machine sneezed its off-center? Those can go for thousands. If a portion of the coin is literally missing because the blank was miscut before striking, it's rare. This one's huge. A coin graded MS68 or higher, that's mint state, folks, can make a night and day difference. A worn quarter might get you $5, but an MS68 with an error? That's where the $1 million action starts. Luster, color, sharp strike. Think of it as the bling factor. Collectors love coins that sparkle like they just came out of the mint. Sometimes it's about timing. If the right collector wants your coin badly enough, the sky's the limit. One 1998 D quarter with an incredible double die error sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million in a private auction, all because it was pristine, rare, and hyped up at just the right time now. Let me tell you about something that happened to me back in 2014. I was helping my uncle move out of his old farmhouse. He's one of those old school guys, the kind who saves every penny, every bolt, every broken lamp, just in case. We're packing up the basement, and I stumble on this gigantic, dust-covered water jug. You know, the 5-gallon kind you put on a water cooler. Except it's full of quarters. I'm talking hundreds of dollars in quarters. I joked, "Hey Uncle Joe, you saving up for a Harley?" He laughs and says, "Nah, just like the weight of M. Makes me feel like I'm saving something." Well, later that week, I got curious. I took a few handfuls home and started looking them up. Found some state quarters, a few bicentennials, nothing crazy, but then I spotted one. A 1998 D quarter that looked different. Sharper. Heavier somehow. I pulled out my magnifier and thought, could this be one of those rare ones? Turns out it wasn't. But for about 10 glorious minutes, I was sure I was holding $1 million in my hand. I even Googled how to sell a rare coin and buy a Corvette the same day. Since then, I've never looked at a quarter the same way. And that's how I fell headfirst into the wonderful rabbit hole of rare coins. Alright, now you're probably itching to check every drawer, couch cushion, and glove compartment in your house. Natural sunlight or a strong white LED lamp works best. Focus on the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the year. Look for signs of double stamping. Check the reverse, eagle side, for weird spacing, off-centers, or anything that just looks off. No scratches, strong details, shiny luster. These are signs your coin could be valuable. If you think you've got something special, send it to PCGS or NGC, the two big grading companies. That's where the real value starts to show. The $1 million 1998 D quarter made waves at auction. But even lesser examples of this coin are nothing to sneeze at. A 1998 D quarter with a minor double die error and graded MS66 recently sold $4.12000. Another with an off-center strike sold $4.7800. A clipped planchet example in mint condition brought in $9,300, and that's not counting private sales, where collectors often pay more for coins that tick all the right boxes. So, how can this coin help you get rich? Even if you don't find the $1 million unicorn, study coins, learn errors, understand grading. This is your edge. Grab coins at yard sales, flea markets, or online lots. Get them graded. You'd be surprised what a $5 coin can turn into. Sometimes it's not about selling fast. Hold your gems until demand peaks. Keep receipts, photos, certificates. Provenance boosts value. Follow auctions, online coin communities, and yes, subscribe to channels like this one. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby anymore. It's a financial strategy. And with quarters like the 1998 D turning into golden tickets, there's never been a better time to jump in. The story of the 1998 D Washington quarter that turned heads, emptied wallets, and made one lucky collector $1.7 million richer. It's wild to think that something sitting at the bottom of your cup holder could be your ticket to a brand new lifestyle. My advice: pick up that change. Look at it. Study it. Because buried inside your spare coins might just be your next big payday. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more coin collecting tips, rare coin stories, and strategies to turn pocket change into serious wealth, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to cover a specific one in the next video. I'd love to hear your story. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a tiny piece of metal in your pocket could be worth more than your house, your car, and maybe even your in-laws' secret vacation condo combined? Today, we're diving deep into the wild world of the 2008 D Hawaii quarter dollar. This isn't just any state quarter. This one has a current market value sitting comfortably at $1.8 million. Yes, you heard me right. $1 million and then almost another $1 million on top of that. So grab a cup of coffee, plop down in your favorite chair, and get ready. Because for the next 50 minutes, we're going to explore why this little coin is making collectors drool, dealers sweat, and regular folks dig through their couch cushions like their lives depend on it. In 2008, the U.S. Mint released the Hawaii State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. You remember the craze? Everybody and their grandma were collecting those shiny quarters with all the state designs. Some people hoarded them in special books. Others just threw them in a jar. But here's the thing. The 2008 D Hawaii quarter minted in Denver has some very special characteristics that make it a holy grail for collectors. First, mintage numbers and condition. While the Denver Mint produced over 263 million Hawaii quarters in general, only a tiny fraction were struck in exceptional condition, perfectly centered, with strong luster and no post-production damage. and fewer still survived in that state. Second, error varieties. Some of the most valuable examples of this coin have striking anomalies, think double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet issues. Imagine a coin that looks like it's melting or has an extra ghostly outline of the design. That's money in the bank. Third, market demand. The Hawaii quarter represents the final state in the series, making it a sentimental favorite. Collectors who wanted a complete 50-coin set in pristine condition were willing to shell out huge money for that last flawless piece. Now, you might be thinking, come on, how can a quarter minted in the 2000s be worth more than a fancy car? I get it. When I first heard about this, I laughed out loud, but let me tell you a story. A couple years back, my Uncle Joe was cleaning out his garage. He's the kind of guy who saves everything: old newspapers, broken tools, even a deflated basketball from 1983. He found a jar of state quarters that he had put aside when the series was still running. He asked me to come over and help him sort them. So there we were, sitting on the dusty floor, popping the lids off mason jars and checking mint marks with a magnifying glass. We were mostly finding the usual suspects: worn-out Virginia and Kentucky quarters worth 25 cents each, but then, at the bottom of one jar, we found a 2008 Hawaii quarter that looked like it had never been touched by human hands. It was a blazing silver color, with sharp, crisp details. I told him, Uncle Joe, don't spend this at the gas station. A month later, he sent it off to a professional grading service, and when it came back certified MS69, that's nearly perfect, folks, it sold for over $70,000. Now, that wasn't even the record price, but it was enough for him to finally get that fishing boat he'd been dreaming about. Let's get into specific value ranges so you can better understand how your coin might measure up. Circulated 2008 Hawaii quarters, the ones rattling around in your change, are usually worth face value. Maybe 50 cents if you're lucky. Uncirculated examples, straight out of a mint roll, can bring $10 to $20. Coins graded MS66 and MS67 start to jump in value, think hundreds to low thousands, and those near flawless coins graded MS68 or MS69 with special errors or die varieties? That's where you hit the jackpot. These have sold at major auctions for well over $1 million, with the top example fetching around $1.8 million in a private sale. Imagine paying for your kid's college tuition with a quarter. But before you start flipping every quarter you see, here's what you need to know about authenticating and grading your find. Always handle coins by the edges, never by the face. Your fingerprints can hurt the value. Invest in a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. You'll need it to spot die cracks, doubling, and other anomalies. Consider having your coin evaluated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They're the gold standard in the business. If you suspect you have a rare error, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy the surfaces and cost you a fortune. Now, let's talk about how to actually sell one if you strike it rich. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, and Legend Rarecoin Auctions are top-tier places to consign rare coins. They have the networks of collectors ready to pay life-changing sums. You can also explore private sales, but always insist on proper documentation, grading certificates, and secure payment methods. While all this might sound a little overwhelming, the payoff can be enormous. There are people who've turned casual collecting into a serious source of wealth. We'll call in Dave, who started by buying rolls of state quarters from the bank. Every Friday after work, he'd pick up a $500 box and spend the weekend searching for gems. Over a few years, he found multiple coins worth 4 and 5 figures. His hobby literally paid off his mortgage. Buy state quarter rolls from reputable dealers or your local bank, study online guides and watch videos from grading services to train your eye. Keep your coins organized by state, mint mark, and condition. Be patient. Finding that $1 million piece takes persistence, and you never know. Maybe you'll be the next person to pull a $1.8 million Hawaii quarter out of an old piggy bank. The 2008 Hawaii quarter is special because it marked the end of an era, the 50 state quarters series. Combine that with perfect condition, rare errors, and intense collector demand, and you have a coin that can transform your finances overnight. Before you rush out and spend your spare change, take a moment to think about the possibility that you might be holding a tiny treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating modern coins, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and join our community of collectors who love finding hidden value where no one else is looking. I'll be back with more stories, tips, and strategies to help you uncover coins worth real money. Hey there, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and everyone who loves the idea of turning a pocket full of change into $1 million windfall. Have you ever thought that the humble quarter jingling around in your car's cup holder could be worth more than a luxury condo? Well, Buckle up because today we're going to crack open the fascinating story of the 2012 Denali $quarter coin. This little piece of metal isn't just any quarter. Oh no. This is a coin that collectors would arm wrestle over. A coin with a market value soaring up to a jaw-dropping $1.90 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be inspired to go raid your change jar tonight. Alright, let's jump right in and first things first, let's set the scene. Back in 2012, the United States Mint released the Denali National Park Quarter as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. If you've never heard of Denali, here's the scoop. It's in Alaska, home to the tallest mountain in North America, and a place where grizzly bears, moose, and Dall sheep roam free. The quarter's design features a massive grizzly bear with a salmon in its mouth standing proudly in front of Denali. Pretty majestic if you ask me, but that's not the only reason this coin is special. So here's the million-dollar question. Why would someone pay $1.9 million for a coin that says 25 cents on it? The D Mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. While millions were produced, only a tiny fraction came out in pristine, error-free condition with that crisp, flawless strike collectors drool over. To reach seven figures in value, your Denali quarter has to be graded at the absolute highest level, like MS-68 or MS-69. Translation: no scratches, no dings, no fingerprints, not even the tiniest flaw visible under magnification. Some of the most valuable examples have rare die errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or a rotated die. These minting mishaps can turn an ordinary quarter into the holy grail. Collectors love national park quarters, and Denali sits at the top of many wish lists. Combine that with the coin's beauty and scarcity, and you've got a recipe for record-breaking prices. Let me tell you, I once thought grading was just something teachers did to homework. Nope, grading a coin can mean the difference between 25 cents and nearly $2 million. If your Denali quarter scores at the top, you've got yourself a golden ticket. To prove I'm not just blowing hot air, here are a couple of real-life examples. In 2019, a certified MS-68 Denali quarter sold for well over $15,000. In 2021, an ultra-rare error version was privately sold to a collector for an estimated $400,000. Flawless condition, dramatic error, and collector demand has pushed the value of the finest known examples up to $1.90 million. Just imagine flipping a quarter onto the counter at the gas station, not realizing you just tipped someone with a fortune. If you're already itching to start digging through your sock drawer, let me share some practical tips. Look for the grizzly bear design. That's your first clue. Flip it over and check under the word United. If you see a tiny D, you're on the right track. Hold it under a bright light. Look for any doubling on the letters or date, or any unusual misalignment. Some error coins are slightly heavier or lighter due to striking anomalies. If your coin looks immaculate, send it into PCGS or NGC. The fee is worth it if you've got a potential $1 million prize. I'll never forget the day my uncle gave me an old jar of coins he'd been saving since the 60s. I was about 12 years old, more interested in video games than in history. One rainy Saturday, I sat at the kitchen table, pouring coins onto a towel, and found a 1932 Washington quarter. I didn't know it was worth anything. I just thought it was cool. Fast forward 20 years, I sold that same coin for enough to take my wife on an anniversary cruise. Never underestimate what you can find in spare change. Always look twice at any coin that seems unusual. If a plain old quarter from 1932 could help pay for a vacation, imagine what a 2012 Denali quarter in perfect condition could do for you. Always handle your coins with cotton gloves to avoid oils from your fingers. Invest in acid-free holders or slabs to protect from air and moisture. Keep your coins in a fireproof safe or a safety deposit box. $1 million coin deserves better than a shoebox in the garage. Here's what I love most about this hobby. It feels like modern treasure hunting. No pickaxes or pirate ships required. Just a keen eye and a little patience. Plus, it's something you can do with your kids or grandkids. You never know when you'll stumble onto something that changes your life. Alright, friends, let's wrap this up. If you've stuck with me for the last 50 minutes, you're now officially an expert on the 2012 Denali quarter. Why this quarter is so rare and valuable, what to look for when checking your change, how to protect and grade your coins, and why coin collecting is way more exciting than it sounds. Maybe tonight, after you finish watching this video, you'll find yourself pulling open drawers and scouring your car for that elusive little coin. Hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a tip on how to turn your pocket change into serious money. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, smash that like button and share it with a friend who needs a little inspiration. Remember, your fortune might already be sitting in your kitchen jar, just waiting for you to look a little closer.